Hey sixth graders, this is Mrs. Laws again, and today we're going to talk about the art of persuasion involving persuasive techniques. So there are three main types of persuasive appeals, and with each of those it kind of breaks down into some different techniques. Now these techniques are used by writers, so they show up in your conventional persuasive writing such as persuasive letters, persuasive essays. You're also going to see these techniques in speeches, in billboards and posters and commercials, on the radio, on TV. You're going to see them in lots of different places. You've been bombarded with these persuasive messages and techniques since you were a little kid, back before you even knew how to talk probably. So we're going to kind of evaluate these and see exactly what they are and what they look like. So if you'll notice on your paper that you were given this handout, we have on the left side, it's broken down into ethos, pathos, and logos. And these are just Greek terms for what really mean ethical appeal, pathos involves sentimental appeal, and logos is logical appeal. So basically just Greek ways of saying those three things. So I'll refer to them in class as ethos, pathos, and as logos. Okay, so we'll start off by looking at ethos, what it is and what some of the examples are. Now ethos is one type of technique that involves trust. It involves credibility. It involves several different things. So let's go ahead and write those down first. So for ethos, which is also known as ethical appeal, it is very much about being able to trust the person who's trying to persuade you and them having that credibility that they should have, which leads to the trustworthiness. So basically, these types of commercials are going to have someone, usually as a spokesperson, representing a product. And these people are going to either have personal experience with the product, they are going to have education, which allows them to know about the product and how to evaluate it. And basically, they just come across as good, honest people. So their reputations are typically intact and go along with what the product's trying to sell. So we'll go ahead and also write down that it's based on personal experience. So someone who's probably used it, worn it, been exposed to it somehow, so they know about it. So personal experience, usually they have the education that is needed to be able to promote the product. And they usually are very honest. At least they come across as being honest. So it's all about being true, being honest, having that experience or knowledge in that particular matter. So the different types that we have are all different types of testimonial. So there are three different ones. So we'll start off by talking about plain folks. Plain folks testimonial is basically when you just have a regular old person, they don't have to be old, but just a normal person, not anybody who's famous for anything, not anybody who's an expert necessarily. It's just somebody who has that personal experience, and they're just a normal person who's probably not getting paid to promote this product. So this is just a regular old person as the spokesperson. So regular, normal person. Somebody like you and like me. Somebody we can relate to. So you'll see these often in like mattress commercials or in some types of beauty or cosmetic commercials, soap commercials. You'll see just regular old people, nobody that you would normally recognize, just somebody who's just very plain and they're using it and they seem to like it. So they're representing that. So that is called plain folks. Now the next one is expert testimonial. Now this is one that education usually comes into play. So an expert is somebody who not only has used it and likes it, but there's somebody who have a degree or have some type of an education or a job that allows them to know the product really well. So this is like your toothpaste commercials when the dentists are speaking and saying, you know, I recommend this to my patients. So usually an expert testimonial is going to involve some type of doctor for the most part. So again, it's somebody who uses it and likes it and recommends it, but they also have the education to know if it's going to be trustworthy or not. Okay, so expert testimonial is usually based on, or usually, we'll just say usually a doctor or someone with knowledge and education of the product. So the difference between the two is this is just a regular old person. It doesn't have to be somebody who has a degree or anything. This person, though, has been to school and they really should know what they're talking about. Somebody that we should be able to trust to recommend something like that to us. The third type of testimonial is celebrity testimonial. Now, I know that y'all have seen these because these are all over the place. This is when you have your LeBron James selling something. Michael Jordan sells his own line of clothing. This is Katy Perry for Proactive. This is Taylor Swift for the Got Milk promotional. So with celebrity testimonial, this is all about somebody who's usually famous for something, and they are endorsing the product. Usually they get quite a bit of money for their endorsement. So it's not necessarily a trustworthy testimonial, but it is one that usually is very effective because we usually look up to those celebrities and we tend to mimic what they do. So celebrity testimonial is when you have someone who is a famous spokesperson. And so usually it is either their name, their face, and their reputation that are being promoted here. Okay, so famous person is the one involving celebrity testimonial. The expert testimonial is usually probably someone like a doctor, and again, the plain folks is just your regular normal people. So these all are different types of ethos, also known as ethical appeal. There's one that I ended up leaving off of the list by accident, but I'd like you to go ahead and add it on here now. So we're just going to jump in. Let's say have a little bit of room right here to put it. So this one is one called false authority. So false authority does go along with this, but basically it's when maybe they're using a person's name instead of having some type of evidence. So this might be if there's a local company or business who's trying to get started and they want to promote their line of clothing, but they can't afford to hire someone to do it. So instead they might throw in a name like, oh my goodness, I'm trying to think of somebody who you would want to buy clothing off of. So let's just say it's just whoever, okay, Justin Bieber. I know he's not exactly, famous and popular anymore, but his name is the one that popped into my head. So let's say that the local company just throws in their commercial, Justin Bieber wears our clothes. He was in last week and bought $200 worth. Well, if Justin Bieber's not really in the commercial himself to talk about it, that they're just using his name, that's an example of false authority. So basically it's when a person's name is used instead of them speaking for it themselves. So basically this is not a type that's very credible. Okay, so that's all about ethos and ethical appeal. So we're going to go ahead and move on to pathos. And this is the one that's probably the most popular. You see this the most widely used because it is so effective. And so pathos is also known as sentimental appeal, like we talked about before. And basically with pathos or sentimental appeal, it's just about finding a way to affect your emotions somehow. So pathos is about affecting emotions. And we have a lot of different emotions, so this can affect us in a lot of different ways. If you think about Super Bowl commercials and what most of them have in common, they're usually pretty darn funny. We enjoy a good laugh and we remember the product later because of it. Sometimes they try to scare us into buying something. Sometimes we might get really sad when we hear a certain commercial come on TV. So they can affect us in a lot of different ways. So basically with sentimental appeal, there are 8 different types. And it sounds like a lot, but they're all so different. I think it'll be pretty easy to keep them different and straight. And so we'll go through each one of these and see what makes them different. So the first one is just flat out sentimental appeal. Now this one can go one of 2 ways. With sentimental appeal, it can either make you feel all warm and fuzzy on the inside, or it can make you feel really sad. So we're either talking about the cute little fluffy puppy and kitty commercials where they are just precious and they're running around and having fun, and it's about like pedigree dog food and how it makes them feel good. Or it could be one of those really sad in the arms of the angel commercials where it shows all the pitiful, helpless little poor kitties and puppies that have been, you know, dumped out and they're starving, and it makes you want to run out of the room crying kind of commercials. So it can go either way. So sentimental appeal is either going to make you really happy or it's going to make you really sad. So it's all about the warm and fuzzies, or it's all about the sad factor. So the warm and fuzzies usually has something cute or something that's just going to kind of make you feel all good on the inside. The sad factor is almost always going to have really depressing music in the background. You can usually tell those apart that way. So we'll just say cute animals for the warm and fuzzies. Maybe cute babies. Everybody likes a cute baby until they start crying. Okay, so the next one is scare tactics, or kind of something that's shocking. So sometimes we need to be scared into not doing something. This is when you have those PSAs, or public service announcements. Think about the smoking ones where they show commercials of the people who have been affected by smoking and how their bodies are messed up because of it. That scares you into not wanting to smoke. There are ones about the drunk driving or texting while driving, just tobacco in general. So scare tactics and shocking, these are the ones that try to scare you into not wanting to do what it is. So it frightens you into not doing something, or not buying something, or maybe it scares you into buying it. Think about the alarm commercials. Sometimes they show a burglar breaking into the home and the family's freaking out because they think they're about to all be killed. And so then the advertisements for an alarm company, so if you get the alarm, then your life will be safe. So they can scare you into buying something too. So frightens you into not doing something or into buying something, usually to save your life. And usually these are the PSAs. Again, those are public service announcements. Those are the ones that are put together by groups of people who stand for a certain idea. The next one's humor. That's very straightforward. Basically, it just makes you laugh. So it makes you feel good. Again, everybody likes a good laugh. So humor is just the kind that makes you laugh somehow. Chances are if you laughed at it when you watched it, you're going to want to watch it again so you can laugh again. And then after you've seen it a few times, oh, then you remember what the product's for. And the next one, number 4, is sense of urgency. Sense of urgency is basically when they want you to hurry up and go do something. So this is the kind when it's a going out of business sale. Like you have to get there this weekend or we will be out of the business and the doors will be closed forever. This is also the infomercials late at night when they say if you order in the next 15 minutes, we'll throw in a bonus toilet cleaner for free. And so you feel like, oh my gosh, I've got to hurry up and get on that phone and make that phone call. So sense of urgency is when they make you feel like you have to do it right then. Okay, so that's how that one works. It just makes you feel like you got to do it, and sometimes you hurry up and order it, and then later you're kind of thinking, wait, I didn't really need that toilet cleaner after all. But too late, you already bought it. Okay, number 5. This is bandwagon. I'm sure a lot of you probably heard, well, you know what? This is probably the most commonly used one among kids because you all love to go to mom and dad and say, Mom, please, everybody else is going. Or Dad, everybody else has one. All of my friends got one for Christmas. And so usually they say something like, well, all your friends jumped off a cliff. Are you going to jump off the cliff too? I heard that growing up, I don't know how many times. So basically it's just everybody else has it, or they're doing it, or they're going there. And so it makes you feel like you're going to be left out if you don't do the same thing too. So that's bandwagon. It's all about jumping on the bandwagon where everybody else is. So bandwagon makes you feel left out. If you don't, oops, makes you feel left out if you don't have it. So basically you feel like you want to be included in the action, or you want to have that product too. I mean, you don't want to be the only one who does it. And so this one is actually pretty effective. Usually if you see an advertisement with bandwagon, it's going to have a lot of different people in it, and they're all going to be using the product, and they're going to be smiling or jumping around. They're happy that they're using it. The next kind is loaded language. Now these last 3 aren't necessarily very much about affecting the emotions, but they fit in the pathos category better than anywhere else. So loaded language is usually one that is included in a lot of these other ones anyway. It's when the companies use language that sounds either really, really good or it sounds really, really bad. So if it was, let's say if we go back to the sentimental appeal with the sad factor and the depressing music, it could be that commercial that's trying to get you to adopt the poor helpless little puppies and kitties, they probably are going to use language that make you feel terrible for them. They're going to say words like poor and helpless and cold and dying, and they're going to use words like that that really kind of tug at your heartstrings. They could also do that to make you feel frightened or to make you feel really happy about something. So usually loaded language is going to have a lot of adjectives in it, adjectives that are very opinionated. So with this one, we'll say uses a lot of very opinionated wording. And those words are called loaded terms or loaded language. So we'll go ahead and add a few of those examples. So it would be like terrible, I don't remember what I said before, deathly, helpless, gorgeous, if it's talking about makeup. So those are just a few of the examples. So those are all examples of loaded language or loaded terms. The next one, number 7, is repetition. This is probably the easiest one for companies to produce because basically it's just making up something and then saying it over and over and over again. I can think of a local one that we have that I hear on the radio pretty often. It's about Scott George Motors, Scott George Motors, Scott George Motors. And so after you've heard that a few times, it gets stuck in your head, and whether you want to remember it or not, you do. This also works really well with phone numbers where they will repeat it, usually to the tune of some type of a rhyme or something, or they turn their maybe their advertisement in some type of a song or a jingle. So repetition is when basically when they have something that's been said at least 3 times or more. So a word, jingle, phone number, repeated over and over. And again, it gets stuck in your head. Usually these are the most annoying of all, but they sure are effective because we remember them. Word, jingle, phone number, repeated over and over. Okay, and then that brings us to number 8, and this one involves exaggeration. This is not used quite as often as the others because a lot of the times it looks really dumb. Exaggeration is usually when they make something a bigger deal than what it really is. So it's kind of like if you, a lot of it is the cleaning products where they show OxyClean, for example. Here's what it looks like if you don't use OxyClean. Here's what it looks like if you do use OxyClean, and you look at it and think there's no way it's going to get that clean after you use it just one time. So they're really exaggerating the powers of the product. So it usually makes something seem way better than what it really is. Makes something seem way better than what it really is. And so we have covered all of the different examples of pathos. Now go over them very quickly with you. So pathos is all about affecting the viewer's emotions with sentimental appeal. It can either give you the warm and fuzzies, make you feel all good and cozy inside, or it can just really depress you with the music that it plays, and usually the sad little puppies and kitties and sometimes adopting children. Scare tactics and the shock factor, basically these are usually with the PSAs, and they can either scare you into not doing something or scare you into buying something to protect yourself and your family. Humor, straightforward, it's just something that makes you laugh. If you laugh, it makes you feel good inside, and then you want to watch it again, and then you remember it. Sense of urgency, it kind of talks you into hurrying up and doing something right then and there, whether you really want to do it or not. Bandwagon's going to make you feel left out if you don't have it or don't do it. Loaded language is all about lots of adjectives such as terrible, deathly, helpless. It's going to make something feel very opinionated, but it also really kind of tugs at your heartstrings too. Again, repetition, saying that same thing 3 or more times, it gets stuck in your head. And exaggeration is going to make something seem way better than what it really is. The last type is logos, which again is logical appeal. I don't have a specific type for logos because basically this is the kind that is the most credible. So we're going to make a note here that this is the most credible, this is the most trustworthy type of advertisement. And so this is all based on facts, it's based on evidence, it's based on statistics, it's based on numbers, graphs, survey results, it's based on proof. So basically you know what you're getting when you buy it. So it's all about facts, statistics, evidence, graphs, charts, percentages. It's just one that it makes the most sense because they have the research to completely back it up. The last thing on the list is something called red herring. Now, red herring is a non-example of logos, so basically it's the opposite of logos. It's when somebody doesn't have enough information, they don't have enough facts to back up what they're claiming, and so they try to lead you on a false trail. So that's, for example, let's say that there's a new shampoo out there, and so what they're going to do is show you a girl that has a lovely head of hair, how shiny it is, how it smells good, but they don't give you any facts or information to back it up. So they keep showing you the girl with the pretty head of hair instead of getting to the real issue. And so it's kind of like a false trail. It's kind of like with Hansel and Gretel where they left the trail of breadcrumbs to lead them where they were going. Well, in this case, it's when they're leaving a trail that goes to the wrong location. So this one's just all about trying to divert your attention from what the real issue is by throwing in something that distracts you instead. So a red herring diverts attention from the real issue. It's kind of like a false trail. Sometimes y'all do this at home probably. It may be that you, and little kids really like to do this. In fact, my son does all the time. He may be in trouble for not cleaning his room. So when I go in there and I start to say, Cohen, why in the world did you not clean your room? He'll walk up to me and he'll be talking about, Mommy, your hair looks pretty today. And so he's trying to distract me from what the real issue is. And the real issue is that he's about to be in trouble. But he knows how to use a red herring by talking about my hair and making me think about it instead of about why he should be in trouble. So that's kind of what a red herring is. So it's like a false trail to distract. Okay? So, again, ethical appeal is all about trust and credibility. It's about people who are being spokespeople. Pathos is all about trying to find a way to attack your emotions. And then logos should appeal to your inner scientist side because it's all about the facts and the statistics. It's all about the numbers. So this one is really about the proof. And so I didn't add that, but I think we're going to put that on here now. All about the proof. So the humor might really sell a lot, but this is the one that you really should base your information on is, do they have logos included in their advertisement? I'm going to show you a few examples now, and I will give you a few seconds after I show you each one to see if you can figure out what type of technique is being used in each one. I'll tell you what it is, but I want you to think about it before I tell you. So here is the first one. Well, okay. That ought to be better. Okay, so we have this old commercial that I printed off of the internet, and we have a guy here who's wearing a white coat. He has a cigarette in his hand, and it says, according to repeated nationwide surveys, more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette. And so here we have a doctor who is smoking, and it's saying that doctors are endorsing Camels. And right here it even says the doctor's choice is America's choice. And they even have 3 other doctors down here. So think about it. What technique is this ad employing? Let's figure it out. This one's pretty easy. It's all about expert testimonial. A doctor should be an expert. Back in the 60s, they were experts, but they just didn't quite realize yet how bad that smoking could be for you. So they endorsed the smoking. Okay, so that's expert testimonial because there's a doctor selling the product. Here is the second one. Recognize that guy? Big green hand? Veins sticking out? The superhero fans in the class ought to recognize this as being the Hulk. And the Hulk has a Band-Aid on his finger. And then at the very bottom is a picture of the Band-Aid box. So think about what advertisement technique this one is using. You got it? Another type of testimonial? He's pretty famous, huh? Most of us know who he is. So this time it's going to be celebrity testimonial. Even though he's not real, I mean, obviously the Hulk is not real. He's still a celebrity in his own right. So this is celebrity testimonial. He's endorsing that Band-Aid by wearing it. You know, I got on a Band-Aid today, but I'm not a celebrity. So what type of persuasion would I be using if this was my finger here endorsing the Band-Aid product? Yeah, I'm just kind of a plain folk. So plain folk testimonial for me. Another one? Anybody recognize her? Oh, you don't have to. It has her name. So if you don't recognize her face, you probably know her name if you listen to the radio. So we have Nivea, which is a skincare product. And this has Nivea and Rihanna, an iconic voice celebrating an iconic skincare brand. So if you recognize her, if we know her face, we know her name, we probably know her voice. Again, this is celebrity testimonial. So Rihanna and the Hulk have that in common. Here's an advertisement that says, this holiday season, give the gift of a smile. This baby doesn't have much of a smile. This is for a company called the Smile Train, and it's trying to get you to donate money to help children like this who have cleft palate issues. How do you think this is supposed to make you feel when you see an advertisement like this? Well, if you have a heart, it's supposed to affect it. And so this type of technique here is using sentimental appeal. It's supposed to kind of make you feel bad for the baby and want to do something about it. So again, this is sentimental appeal. This is a different type of advertisement. This is actually a cutout, kind of like a billboard, kind of like a poster, but it's behind this. So if you were walking down this little pathway and then you out of the corner of your eye see this, how do you think that would make you feel? I don't know about you, but it would scare the crud out of me if I saw that. And so here's another picture of that same thing. This says, violence can be waiting for you anywhere. Call 066. So this is a Mexican advertisement. And so this is meant to scare you into doing something. So this one employs scare tactics. I found this one last year, and I think this is probably one of my favorite advertisements of all time. This is for Pepsi Twist, and you have a little lime up on the top who's, I guess he just didn't have time to get to the restroom, so he used the Pepsi can instead. So it says, Pepsi with a touch of lemon. And I don't know about lemon, that guy looks like a lime to me, but anyway, whatever it is, it's funny. So this particular advertisement is trying to employ humor to sell the Pepsi Twist. I don't know how well it worked because I don't think I've seen Pepsi Twist in stores anywhere. Here's a cat. Brushed up kitty litter says cats everywhere are having a hard time smelling their litter boxes. So this cat is trying to hold it. And I don't know about you, but I think that's pretty funny looking too when you have a cat who just really needs to get to the bathroom. So again, this one's using humor. Few more. So this is an advertisement for some type of phone company, Verizon Wireless, and if you look in the middle, you see a whole lot of people who are all holding out their phone, and they all appear to be pleased that they're using Verizon Wireless. So when you have a group of people, they're all using the product, they all seem to be enjoying the product, it can't be anything other than bandwagon. This one should look a lot like that last one did. This one's from Jello, Jello. If you look in the middle again, you'll see a whole lot of kids, and I don't see a single one who's not smiling and really happy about that Jello that they just got to have for supper. So, again, bandwagon. Alright, last one. Here you have some people sitting on a mattress. Now they appear to be very plain folk, so it is kind of employing the plain folk testimonial here. But if you look down at this part, I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you, where it says in clinical studies, and we have 93%, we have 89%, 77%. It's clinically proven back pain. It shows you exactly what it does to your body when you're using it. It sounds to me like they've done their research, they have some evidence, they have some information to support their evidence. This is an example of logos. And so this is probably a little bit more trustworthy than anything else you've seen. So now that we've gone through all of these, I want you to study your notes, and next time you see some commercials or advertisements, you should be able to determine what techniques they used. Adios.